Welcome to the Matrix Q audio podcast. This will be our first podcast of a new series of conversations that we will introduce to you through the social media. What I would like to share with you about is on the nine economies and the importance of the transition of our perspective on household economy, national economy, and business. How do we generate income and how do we pay ourselves and others for the work they do? So, one of the most important things that I need to share with you today is that in our modern times, everybody, every person is growing today into more layers of skills, abilities, and knowledge. Therefore, is capable to deliver more than one layer or stream of services or value. Which means that when you quantify the value of the content or service delivered, the person that is working for you as a freelancer employee, as a company, can charge you for each stream of value a different amount. This is something that we are not used to think of. I have been talking and sharing with entrepreneurs since the year 1993, and the most common idea is that we need to pay ourselves for time. But actually, some people with enough experience and advanced skills can deliver in 20 minutes the value that other people may need 3 days. So the value of time doesn't matter. What matters is the value of the content delivered and the outcome that this content will produce or influence to happen. So when you're considering to pay yourself or pay others, my suggestion is to first quantify the amount of units of content delivered that has value and produce an outcome in each of the skills of streams that you have, in each of the abilities, knowledge fields you are. And if you're working for a company, for example, doing strategic management, marketing training, you are coaching, you are producing digital content. Now we're talking about 4 different activities, and each of them needs to be quantified and paid. There is also another element that you need to consider when you are compensating somebody or a company or an engine for the work done. And it is the uniqueness that you are receiving. Every human is different, every person is different. And your uniqueness is the solution to a challenge that we are about to experience. It means that in your company, in your community, in your government, whatever challenge you have, you can be certain that there is a person that have developed the right perception, skill set, mindset, knowledge, knows the ideal tools to solve that challenge, to solve that blind spot, to help you to unleash your potential as an organization, to release trapped value. So it is important for you to know this, because when you find that person, you need to acknowledge that uniqueness, because that quality of service is something that happens, that is possible only because the whole life journey of that person. So I want to now share with you a contrary idea on equality. In our modern times, we're experiencing a lot a cancel culture, and this is certainly a challenge because many people want to express themselves, companies want to produce their uniqueness, or their innovations, creativity is everywhere. Self-expression, the ability to communicate yourself, to tell what you feel, what you want, what you are, what you know, is a right and a duty for all human beings, because it's through sharing our value that we grow as community. Now, but what would happen if for any mean somebody, a group of people decide that everybody has to be equal, therefore everybody have to communicate the same type of value? Or that the uniqueness needs to be cancelled so that in that way everybody have to be equal? or the differences between each other need to be not acknowledged. Therefore, the best way is to pay you with time. So, when we are planning to evolve in an economy that is more advanced, we need to acknowledge the reality of the uniqueness of the human beings and therefore spot the value of each human being and compensate it accordingly. Now, I will hear for sure many people not feeling so comfortable with this idea. The idea of acknowledging the world as it is, differences as they are, feels to be contrary to the idea of equality, but actually it isn't. To acknowledge the reality of humanity is the most honorable thing that we can do for every human being, in which we can recognize the weaknesses, the ongoing process of development that never ends, the possibility to support each other and bridge those gaps, to team up and create teams and groups that can collaborate with each other to achieve goals together, and to celebrate the excellence, the achievements, the milestones that each of our members in the community have achieved. But then what happens if somebody does not have the conditions to learn, does not have the conditions to grow, does not have the abilities to evolve? What happens in that situation? Well, it is very simple. We need to acknowledge that lack and compensate it as a community to support a person to discover that uniqueness that the person has within the limitations. There is some statement I used to share with all my coaches, and it is to find your limits, find your blind spots, realize the process you need to go through to unleash your potential to find your purpose, yet thrive within your limitations. And if we manage to look inwards and explore our potentiality within the limitations that has been given by life to us, and celebrate within those limitations whatever possibilities we have, being supported by our community, I'm certain we will find jewels, gold, and a lot of potentiality that has a great value for community. We have many cases of this. We have seen that all around the world. We shouldn't be afraid of that journey. On the other side, I also can acknowledge, and it is very certain, that the journey of a person might take longer or not. So that means that the possibility for you, for each individual, to discover the purpose, to realize the skill set, to really put them into practice and bring them to the world may take a while and will require of constant effort, dedication, commitment, and trust. Also of a supportive community. This is what I want to provide in my ecosystem. Yet there is something that our whole planet needs in order to generate peace, and I have been talking about this also for some years. I think the modern economy, the next transition of the economy, needs to start into providing the basic means for living to everybody on the planet. It doesn't matter if it's an entrepreneur, an investor, a student, a person that is unemployed, a person that is just growing, a child. Everybody should receive by a world community, by every government, by every small community, all the needs covered for food, shelter, safety, water, health, air, the basic means for happiness. With those basic needs covered and provided, then every person can certainly find a path to thrive and grow. So the wealth generated over the threshold of covering the basic survival and living needs, it's an individual journey. So we're talking about two parallel economies. One that is dedicated to cover all the basic needs for everybody to have a satisfactory way of life. And a second one that's generated by the entrepreneurial personal growth activities, the content, services, value delivered by the people that has decided to commit to their own personal journey to grow, to excel, to explore the potential, and contribute to society through it. So that means that in this new system with a double economy, we would be able to really empower everybody in the world. For example, entrepreneurs that in most of the countries are not really receiving the benefits of social services and pension. Entrepreneurs taking so much risk in the development of companies that may create jobs, may bring innovation to our society that can help save life or change the quality of life of many people. Those entrepreneurs take so much risk. And if they fail, also the future gets damaged. To provide a minimum income for all entrepreneurs will certainly create safety for the families, create a more healthy mental health journey for them in the business, reduce anxiety, reduce the number of burnouts, and increase the creativity. The entrepreneurial path certainly is not for everybody, but require a certain stability and endurance that will be there because the entrepreneurial heart is going to be there all the time. It's part of the nature of entrepreneurs. So that motivation is there all the time. The minimum income that covers the basic expenses will create a feeling of safety, security, and boost that creativity. The same idea applies for everybody. For the people that want to choose a normal job and be employed, for the investors that eventually had not a good luck or no good decisions in the investment, all of these paths can be backed up by a minimum income that will cover the basic needs and make the life more easy and fulfilling. So I'm looking at a society in the future in which economy enters a transition starting from the way we perceive value in what we do and we create more value with what we are, in which our uniqueness is acknowledged. So the cancel culture, that cancel uniqueness, that pretend that by canceling the uniqueness of everybody, we are creating equality is really misperceiving the real value of the human beings of individuality. So the following podcast series are going to be dedicated to explore what I call the 9 holistic economies, 9 streams of value in which everybody can develop skills, learn tools, acquire knowledge, generate wealth, and that will give you a perspective of what your holistic potential is and how can you generate more wealth out of your uniqueness. And this podcast is dedicated to our community of entrepreneurs, of purpose-driven uh, entrepreneurs, innovators, travelers, purpose seekers, influencers, and storytellers. And I'm glad to share this information with you because I know it is necessary in our time, a time in which we need to create a new foundation for peace. So looking forward to your questions, to your comments, and inviting you to join our platform, our forums, to share with us your insights and suggest questions and content that you would like me to deliver for you in this new podcast.